Hi, my name is Crystal Nelson, and here is my teaching interaction number 3. I have enjoyed reading about everything that we have learned about these past couple of weeks, and I really loved doing my own evaluation plan for my workshop and learning how to have a vision of where I wanted my workshop to go and to making sure that I had a goal and objectives and that the participants of my workshop were able to see that vision and to see those goals and those objectives, and then to be able to give me enough feedback on it. And I really um, am hoping that by being able to incorporate evaluation plans, it will make my family life education workshop better. And I also loved learning about ethics. It kind of reminded me about my in-home visits for a past class that I had to do and how we were required to report if we suspected abuse or anything else, but to also um, have morals and to be very mindful of those that we were interacting with while we were in their home. And a couple of the one ethics that I really wanted to touch base on is relational ethics, which was a call for action, caring for relationships, and they should be constant. Virtue ethics, caring, prudence, or practical wisdom, and hope and optimism. Um, also, there was ethical decision making process that our readings talked about, which was identification of relationships, application of principles, identification of contradictions and tensions, identification of possible solutions, and selection of action. And it was kind of nice to be able to see these processes and to be able to then incorporate these processes into our own workshop to make sure that we are identifying our relationships and applying these principles. And it's kind of interesting also that they had many different ethics and practices for childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and even later adulthood. And I found that this would help me as a family life educator to know the different ethics and practices for each age group, and then to be able to create my workshops accordingly to each age group that I am teaching. So if I were to teach children, I would want to make sure that um, that they're taking responsibility for actions, that there's consequences of actions in self and others, discovering spirituality, respecting for all persons, gaining new rights and responsibilities with age, and rights of all persons. If I was teaching towards adolescents, developing a personal ethical code, exploring personal spirituality, personal autonomy, and social responsibility, ethical principles as one kind of value, interrelationships of rights and responsibilities, ethical principles as a guide to human social conduct, complexity and difficulty of ethical choices and decisions, ethical implications of social and technological change. If I was teaching towards adults, I'd want to be able to establish an ethical philosophy of life, acting in accordance with personal beliefs and with consideration for others, continued growth in personal spirituality, personal autonomy, and social responsibility, interrelationships of rights and responsibilities, ethical principles as one kind of value, ethical values as a guide to human social conduct, complexity and difficulty of ethical choices and decisions, assisting in the formation of ethical concepts and behavior in others, and ethical implications of social and technological change. And then for later adulthood, I'd want to make sure that I did personal autonomy and social responsibility, continued growth in personal spirituality, acting in accordance with personal beliefs with consideration for others, interrelationships of rights and responsibilities, ethical principles as one kind of value, ethical value as a guide to human social conduct, assisting in the formation of ethical concepts and behavior in others, complexity and difficulty of ethical choices and decisions, protection from exploitation, ethical implications of social and technological change. And I just love all of these guidelines of how to help each of these age groups to be able to develop ethics and um, teach them how to practice these in their own lives. Um, I also loved learning about the 5 levels and how we could use these in our workshops. And I thought it was kind of interesting that family life educators were only really needed to focus on the first 3, which were minimal emphasis on families, information and advice, feelings and support. And the last 2, the 4th one, we could use as family life educators only if we were given guidance, which was brief focused intervention, and then we finally get into family therapy. And I also really liked the 10 FLE content areas. This I thought was very important for us to know the different areas that we should be able to concentrate on as family life educators, so that way we could be able to create workshops according to these areas. And those 10 content areas are, excuse me, families and individuals in societal context, internal dynamics of families, human growth and development across the lifespan, human sexuality, interpersonal relationships, parenting education and guidance, family resource management, family law and public policy, professional ethics and practice, and FLE methodology. And I think these are great areas to be able to start and to look to when we are needing ideas to create our own workshops. I have learned so much from this class, and I'm so excited that I have been able to create a workshop and to then use what I have learned from this class and to actually implement it in real life. I am excited for the feedback that I will get from the participants. And I love that ethics teaches us that we need to look at our participants as Christ looks at them. We need to love them. We need to care about them and really understand where they are coming from, because they will have different backgrounds than what we have. And because they have different backgrounds, it does not mean that we need to look at them differently. We need to see them as Christ sees them. And if they feel our love for them, they will then get more out of our workshops, and we will get more out of our workshops because we actually care about the people that we are trying to help. And that is the reason why I'm going into this field, is because I want to help others to feel Christ's love and to be able to make it back to Heavenly Father again. And I know that they can't do this unless they are able to strengthen their marriages and to be able to strengthen their families. And I'm so excited to be able to do this in my own workshop. And I look forward to creating more workshops to be able to help others. Thanks.